Hi, I'm Sam Thurgood and welcome to my 5-minute Parsha. In this week's Parsha of Acharei Mot, we begin by reading about the Yom Kippur service, what the Kohen Gadol does on the holiest day of the year, how the holiest man in the year goes into the Holy of Holies, the holiest place in the year, and this is something that we draw upon very heavily in our Yom Kippur service today, the idea of coming close to Hashem in this very deep and profound way. And almost immediately after, the Torah tells us about the Yom Kippur service. It tells us then that you can't offer offerings outside of the temple grounds. And then it tells us all of the laws of the arayot, the forbidden sexual relationships. Person may not sleep with close relatives and so on and so forth. And that follows a little incongruously pretty much right after Yom Kippur. And perhaps what's even more incongruous is that in the Yom Kippur service, the Torah does not emphasize Hashem's role as God very strongly. The Torah does not say over and over again, Ani Hashem, I am God. It just tells us what you have to do. It says this will be a day of purification. This is what Hashem has commanded. And yet, when it comes to the forbidden relationships, it keeps saying, Ani Hashem, I am God. And in fact, Rabbi Menachem Liebtag points out that in the first half of the book of Vayikra, right up until the end of the Yom Kippur service and the laws about the place for sacrifices, this phrase, Ani Hashem Elokeichem, I am Hashem, appears only 3 times. Whereas in the rest of the book, it appears over 50 times. So what exactly is the difference that when it comes to the first part of the book, which deals really more with temple-related matters, with purity and impurity, with ritual, this phrase, I am Hashem, is not so emphasized. And yet, when it comes to the second half of the book, which starts with the very most basic human behavior of sexual relationships, and then goes on to discuss things like gifts to the poor and agricultural laws and loving your friend as yourself, and all of these things of, so to speak, the nitty-gritty of daily life, that is when Hashem's name appears. And that, Rabbi Liebtag says, is really the point that the Torah is trying to communicate to you. It is so easy and so tempting and so misleading to think that the place where we find Hashem is only in the rituals, only in the sacrifice. We know that we're going to find Hashem there. That's obvious. The relationship, which is you speaking to God, which is you engaging with God, which is you directly connected to God, obviously that's where you'll find God. But you know what you might not think? You might not think that you'll find God in your relationships with fellow people as well. You might not think that you will find Hashem in the kind of marriage relationships that you have, in the way that you give to the poor, in the way that you run your business. We know that we should. But that's the point that the Torah is emphasizing very strongly. That whole first half is saying there is a realm of holiness between man and God. But do not think that Hashem is only to be found there. Hashem is to be found just as much, or perhaps even more so, in the face of the person next to you, in the way that you treat others, your following of all of the other mitzvot, and bringing godliness into every other aspect of your life. And so the first half of the book of Vayikra, dealing with the holiness between man and God, and the second half dealing with the holiness between man and man. And Hashem's presence is to be found equally in both. And that's why Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch says it would be a great mistake to think that Judaism is a religion. It's not a religion because it's not something that's just about God. It's an entire holistic lifestyle, a way of engaging in every single interaction, every single relationship. Please God, we should merit to do that with holiness and to see Hashem's face everywhere we go. Shabbat Shalom.